Hi guys, how's it? It's your dear old friend, the Fairweather Rugby fan, back again. First off, I want to thank you guys for all your continued support. I know I did not make a video like I typically do on the weekends. The No Rugby Championship. I know the URC is in full swing, but the unfortunate part about that is, for me, is that it will cost me over 150 USD to watch that tournament, and I, still have bills and whatnot to pay, so I've got to get the funds together. It'll probably take me about a week and a half before I can pay that subscription cost, and I will start following along with the URC. A couple of individuals have been posting full games online on YouTube and various other websites. I've been able to watch a bit, and damn, that officiating is bad. But we won't. That's not what this video is about. This video is kind of a response to some social media content I've seen a bit in the last 48 hours. So this last weekend, we had the Rugby World Cup qualifier. You had the USA taking on Uruguay in Montevideo, Uruguay, the capital there, and you had Canada taking on Chile. The end result of that was, Chile beats Canada and advances on, and Uruguay beat the brakes off of those Eagles. Everybody knows my special relationship with Canada. If you watch my videos long enough, I think you can figure out what that is. But, a bit broken that they did not qualify, but based on form that they've had in the last several years, they've gotten gradually, they've been really out of form as of late, and they did not qualify, and the USA will now have to play Chile for what will be the Americas 2. Uruguay essentially qualifies for the group of death with France and New Zealand and Italy, and the US will now be playing Chile for that Americas 2 spot. Chile, whoever the loser of that is, goes into the rep charge tournament, where they will have to play, Hong Kong or Portugal. I don't think Tonga will make it to that, but I think they'll be okay. But as soon as this happens, you get on a little bit of social networking, and the first thing that you see is, oh, they need to expand the Rugby World Cup to 24 teams. Canadian guy saying that. And some other comments. I'll leave the Reddit post. I haven't responded to it on Reddit, but this is basically my response to all of that. And there's a lot of comments underneath it. The reality is that Canada does not deserve to play in the Rugby World Cup based on form. They have been, they did beat the US once. They have not been that great. The loss of Tyler Ardron, I have no idea why he's not playing there. Van der Merwe being out with an injury. These are two things that really hurt the team. I think the USA losing yesterday, I think a big part of that was No McGinty. And weirdly enough, who's been playing lights out for the USA Eagles lately is Honko Hermesijs, the South African who came here in high school in Nebraska. If you go find any interviews, he has one of the most interesting accents, because half the time he sounds like a South African, and half of the time he sounds like he was raised in a cornfield in Nebraska, which is what Nebraska is, full of cornfields. He very proudly represents the United States, and I'm very proud that he does represent the United States. He has been at top form so far. He was unable to travel to Uruguay, had some family issues, and obviously that we saw the end result with the Eagles losing pretty big there in Montevideo. Uruguay has been on a team on the rise as of late. They did really well. They beat Fiji in the last World Cup, so I congratulate them. I think they got a really tough road ahead of them in that pool that they ended up in the next World Cup. That's going to be a very tough pool to get out of. I think everybody already is saying, it's going to be France and the All Blacks getting out of that one. And whoever probably wins that will probably be the favorite to win the whole shebang-a-bang. But I do not agree that they should expand the Rugby World Cup. And you might be like, hey, Keith, you're talking about growing the sport. You're growing the sport. Talk about growing the sport, but I'm not talking about watering it down. And I've got some stats here, and I will kind of give my reason as to why I don't think that we need to expand this tournament. And any of you guys can comment. That's what I like about these opinion videos, is I always get all kinds of comments about, hey, you're right, you're wrong, hey, maybe you should look at it this way, that kind of thing. So I brought up, I did a little bit of research here in the living room while my missus and my kiddo were messing with each other on the couch and whatnot. And I had to go through and kind of look at everybody's Rugby World Cup records. And teams that have performed poorly, teams that have repeatedly performed poorly in the tournament. And I'll go ahead and knock off the first few, because there are some teams that have only qualified once and did not win a single game, and that would be Spain in 99. They're 0-3. Cote d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast is 0-3. Zimbabwe qualified in 87 and 91 because of the sporting ban that wouldn't allow the Springboks to play. They're 0-6 in the tournament. And then you get to more recent results. Oh, you've got, more recently, you got Portugal in 07, who is 0-4. And then these are these are teams that have only qualified once, and haven't won a single game, and that's understandable. But then you start getting to the teams that have qualified for multiple tournaments. Now, I do know that I do have a fair share of Namibian followers, and I don't want this to be anything against them. But the fact of the matter is Namibia has qualified in 99, 03, 07, 11, 15, and 19, and has a combined record of 0 wins, 1 draw, and 22 losses. That many World Cups, and that's all you have to show for it. Then you look at a team like Russia, who's qualified in 11 and 19. They have a combined record of 0 wins and 8 losses. Then you kind of start getting into teams that have very few wins. You look at a team like the USA, who's qualified in 99, or qualified in 87, 91, 99, 03, 07, 11, 15, and 19, and has won 3 games and lost 26 games. There were a couple of teams. Georgia was like that. They've been a bunch of times. Italy's been all the time and didn't have more than 5, 6, 7 wins. And then you look at even a team like Uruguay, whose most recent stint, they've gone in 99, 03, 15, and 19, and they are 3-12 in the tournament. Obviously, this last tournament, they beat Fiji, and that was like a really big deal. And you do see that occasionally. You'll see like Japan beating Ireland or Tonga beating France. You do see those tier 2 teams occasionally punch up above their weight. But the reason I bring this stat up is this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 teams. This is 8 teams. So say you added another pool to the tournament, so you added 5 of those teams. What are you getting out of that? I don't think the Rugby World Cup is the most perfect tournament in the world, but it ain't the FIFA World Cup. That's watered down big time. And we're going to run the risk of doing that if you add more teams to this tournament, because the fact of the matter is that there's a lot of these tier 2 teams and borderline tier 3 teams that do not punch above their weight whatsoever. You could put Chile in the tournament. You could put Canada in the tournament. They're not going to win a single game unless they play against each other. That's just the fact of the matter. They might be able to beat an Ivory Coast or a Zimbabwe, but I highly doubt that. You're punching above your weight here, man. If there were more tier 1 teams, I would agree. Let's expand the tournament. Let's bring in more lower tier 2 teams. But the fact of the matter is that if you look at the history of the World Cup, the Rugby World Cup, it's not even your big 6 up north. It's France and England, predominantly from north of the equator, and then south of the equator, it's been all 4 teams have done well, but obviously the big ones have been South Africa, New Zealand. Australia did well in the 90s, and they have made a final and whatnot since then, but like, Italy has never made it. They've never made a deep run. Ireland, Scotland, these guys, I think Scotland's made it to the semi-final, or have they only made it to the quarterfinal? I think Ireland's ever made it out of the quarterfinal. Italy certainly hasn't made it that far. And Wales has made a semi-final. But you're talking about expanding a tournament expand it how? Adding these teams that have 0 wins? It's not going to make the tournament better. You're just going to have these little teams that these big dogs beat the living hell out of. People aren't going to tune in to watch that. Nobody wants to watch that. Nobody wants to watch a team put up 100 points in a World Cup match. I mean, I'm sure if you're a fan of that team, it's entertaining and whatever, but like, if you're that nation that's getting those 100 points nailed against you, you're not going to want to watch that crap. You're going to turn it off. You're not going to even watch the next game because it's pointless. And that's why I'm so against the expansion of the Rugby World Cup into 24 teams. I just don't think it is. And I once again, like I said in the last video, I don't want to become a socio-political comment. I don't want social commentary. You know, I think we live in a world where a lot of people get participation trophies, and it's very unfortunate, and I think that's really what this is. It's like, oh, well, we did qualify. Well, expand the tournament so we do. No, you didn't qualify because you didn't play well. The end. Go back, grow your sport domestically. The Toronto Arrows are the way to go. MLR needs to keep going. I think that's the wave of the future. I think that's the way of the future. I think it's how sport's going to grow here. If North America ever wants to host a Rugby Union World Cup, we need to ensure that Major League Rugby is a success. And the only way that's going to happen is if you live in one of these towns that has a team, you go out to the games. You go out and support your local rugby programs, the collegiate program here, your youth programs. You go out and support the sport, and it'll help the sport grow. But expanding the World Cup is not going to help that sport grow. It's not, because the teams that are on the bottom, their fans aren't going to tune in. They're going to get the brakes beat off them, so what are they going to watch for? But you know what? I may be wrong. This is just my opinion. That's why I made this video, and my opinion is it does not need to be expanded. Not when you have teams like Namibia or Russia or the U.S., you know what I mean, who haven't won a single game. Now, when those teams kind of start maybe punching above their weight and winning a few, then maybe we can have this conversation about expanding and bringing in maybe a third U.S. qualifier and another African qualifier and maybe another Pacific, you know what I mean? Or bringing in another European qualifier, although Romania and Georgia seem to qualify pretty regularly. I know that Spain, Portugal play. I know Germany has a rising rugby program. They're a tier 3. But they're a ways away, you know what I mean? Like, it's not, Mexico has a rugby team. They're a ways away from being competitive. And I would not want to see Mexico playing in the Rugby World Cup, because it would be an embarrassment for their team, an embarrassment for their country, and that's not going to grow the sport. So that's, like I said, just my opinion, guys. You guys can comment below. I'll leave the link to the Reddit conversation. I'm probably even going to just reply to the Reddit conversation with this video, just to kind of put my mark on it, my opinion, as a rugby fan here living in America. I don't think it needs to be expanded. I think it's fine with what it is until you start seeing some of these teams punch above their weight. What's the point? Because, I mean, obviously we saw Japan make that big step hosting it this year and moving into tier 1 status, and congratulations to them. I think Jamie Joseph's a great coach. I think they've got a good program, and the top league is becoming kind of like the all-star league. It's a bit weird trying to watch it here in the States, because usually all I can find is Japanese coverage, and I don't understand a single word of Japanese. It's kind of why I don't watch French rugby, because I don't understand a single word of French. I know you're like, oh, Canada. No, I lived in English-speaking Canada, guys, sorry. But, yeah, I mean, it's kind of becoming that top league is really nailing some top-tier talent, and it's good to watch that game, and it's cool. It's a little bit different breed of rugby. It's the guy, you kind of have to slim down if you're a bigger guy. It's a little faster paced, not as hard-hitting, but it is entertaining. Top league is entertaining as rugby, and I don't knock it at all. You know, I think it's great that Japan has moved up to a higher status. They do have the finances to support their team. I know that World Rugby pumped quite a bit of money into Chile as a rugby union to help them grow their sport there, and I'm thankful for that. I have seen Chile play rugby against the United States. I've seen Uruguay. I've seen Brazil. I've seen the Argentina 15 play against them. I've seen Mexico 7s. So I do like to see, you know, Chile. It would be cool if they could get that rep charge, or, you know, even if they knock the Americans down, the Americans got to go play in the rep charge tournament, which I'm not going to. If that happens, I'm going to, yeah, the U.S. may not qualify, but it would be cool. But I don't think we need to expand the tournament. Not when you have this many teams that have played in one and didn't win a single game, or have played in multiple ones and have never won a single game. But that's, like I said, just my opinion. But you guys let me know what you think. I've got a couple of more videos I'm working on. We've obviously got the continuing saga of the Erasmus. I guess he's got a disciplinary hearing coming up here on the 30th or 31st of the month. I will do a video with my opinion on that. And, man, yeah, that URC, that's going to be a long season. That is some of the worst officiating I have ever seen in professional rugby in my life. And if you don't believe me, get on YouTube. You can find all the videos to verify it. That is some bad officiating. But I'll end it on that note, and I will talk to all of you guys again very, very soon. Cheers, and I will end this video with a little bit of decorating that me and my missus did today. We've got Halloween coming up here in the U.S., and she decorated her desk at her job, and I helped her. She did most of the work. She's a lot more creative than I am, but it was very, very nice, and I'll let you guys kind of see a little bit of that. So take care, and I will talk to all of you again very, very soon. Cheers, guys.